The NASCAR Cup Series race has officially concluded from the Chicago street course, and we see a lot of rain, some red flags, a little bit of bad officiating, and Alex Bowman snapping a winless streak and winning his first race of 2024. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Cup Series races in the Chicago street course for Grand Par 165. We have quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So, before the green flag drop in today's race, Austin Cindric, Austin Dillon, Corey LaJoie, Ryan Blaney, Mark Truex, Joe Logano, Zane Smith would all have to go to the rear of the field for unapproved adjustments. So at the start of the race, he had Kyle Larson lead the field from the outside with Ty Gibbs on the inside. And Ty Gibbs got a really great start at the beginning and was able to clear Kyle Larson for the race lead. And then he had some of the guys on the wet weather tires at the time with Mark Truex being back in 10th. Meanwhile, Ty Gibbs continued to lead, but rain was starting to begin to fall. But one driver that was starting to emerge was Shane Van Gisbergen. SVG had started 5th, was starting to make up a ton of ground and a ton of positions. Meanwhile, some cars started coming down pit road on lap 7 for Corey LaJoie coming down first. Then you had Mark Truex Jr. Austin Dillon, who came down basically on the dry tires. And then eventually Shane Van Gisbergen dropped up to second. And then eventually on lap number 12, SVG and Ty Gibbs put on a really good show and battle for a lap or two, and Shane Van Gisbergen was able to clear for the race lead. Then we saw guys like Joe Logano, Ryan Preece, Eric Jones all come down pit road to put the wet tires on, and then eventually would go a lap down. Then on lap 13, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. would end up spinning out from 15th position in turn number 1. And he had William Byron, Ryan Preece, Harrison Burton, Ryan Blaney, all those guys who were at the time on the wet weather tires. The first caution race come out lap 17 with Corey LaJoie spun really hard in turn number 11, hitting the outside wall and spinning out in front of the leaders, bringing the yellow out. Because of the rain that came on the racetrack, however, that just came out of nowhere before the day started, basically they would go ahead and end stage number 1 and would circulate them with not having live pit stops, and Shane Van Gisbergen would come off the corner and win stage number 1. Zane Smith decided to stay out on the dry tires while the rest leaders would decide to come down pit road. And when they came off pit road, Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace had a little bit of contact coming off, and Todd Gillen did as well. Well, I believe it was that Ty Gibbs, the one who won the race off pit road. Meanwhile, Shane Van Gisbergen lost a couple positions. And then on the next restart, which were double file for some reason, you had Zane Smith leading the field from the inside and Christopher on the outside, and Ty Gibbs got a great restart and was able to clear for the lead. Meanwhile, you had Bubba Wallace, who got spun up in turn number 2 by Alex Bowman, the eventual winner of the race. Bubba got hit to the outside wall, and Daniel Suarez got collected as well. And then probably one of the big moments of this race happened in lap 25 when Chase Briscoe overshoots the corner, runs into the tire barrier, and collects Shane Van Gisbergen, and SVG goes in the outside wall really hard, unfortunately ending his day, and now would bring the caution out. Just a little bit of mistake by Chase Briscoe right there. I'll put blame on Briscoe 100%. I think a lot of drivers are out of control, to be fair, and some were making big mistakes. I haven't seen Briscoe send an apology yet or not. Probably will apologize about the incident. Tough break for SVG, though. The pit crew could have done a lot better job there, but Shane Van Gisbergen's chances to win were unfortunately over. So then they would go ahead and call the red flag to get the track dry because there's so much standing water. It was soapy on the track. NASCAR would go ahead and call the red flag. Eventually, after nearly a 2-hour red flag, drivers would return to their cars. And we got the cars back going at about 7:21 local Central Time. So during this caution, William Byron, Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez, Joe Logano, Corey LaJoie all came down pit road while the rest leaders stayed out. So then on the restarts, they were now officially single file. You had Ty Gibbs lead with Christopher in second. And Christopher got a fantastic restart and was able to clear Ty Gibbs for the race lead. Meanwhile, there was trouble down in turn number 6 when Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Denny Hamlin had some contact. Denny Hamlin just completely sent it through the corner and ran into the inside tire barrier. Luckily, they were able to get it back going. They almost threw a caution, but luckily, they got the cars refired. Then a few laps later, while Kyle Larson was trying to get by Ty Gibbs for second, Kyle Larson would complete to send it really hard into the tire barrier in turn number 6 and hit the tire barrier really hard, unfortunately ending his day, bringing the caution out. Larson just went way too hard, locked it up. Chris Bell was complaining that there was something going on maybe on the track. Kyle Larson just made a mistake right there, though. It took Kyle Larson out of contention and chance. The two favorites going in the race were at this point out of the event. Tough break for Kyle Larson, who unfortunately his chance to lead the regular season points were gone at that point. He's still in contention to win at this point, but Kyle Larson's chances were gone after that. So then on the next restart, you had Cristobal lead with Ty Gibbs right behind him, and Cristobal got a great restart and was able to clear for the race lead. Then he had some drivers make some mistakes. Chase Briscoe and Josh Berry made mistakes on this lap. Then a few laps later, Ryan Preece went off course and hit the tire barrier but got it back going. And then the next couple laps on lap 42, Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott, Austin Hill, Kyle Busch, Michael McDowell, Ryan Blaney, and Bubba Wallace all came down to put dry tires on while the rest leaders stayed out. And then the next lap, Christopher Bell, Ty Gibbs, Todd Gillen, John Hunter Mitchell, Tyler Reddick, AJ Allmendinger all decided to stay out. Meanwhile, you had some drivers that were going to go ahead and stay on the wet weather tires, including Joey Hand, Alex Bowman, Brad Keselowski, Carson Osbar, Mark Truex Jr., and Noah Gragson, and they all decided to stay on the track. There was a great battle at the end of stage number 2 between Joey Hand and Alex Bowman, and Alex Bowman desperately tried everything to get around Joey Hand, but it would not be enough, and coming out the final corner, Joey Hand would go ahead and win stage number 2. Then we got back going with about 25 minutes left in the race with Joey Hand having the lead over Alex Bowman. And those two put on a really solid battle for the race lead for a couple laps, and eventually Alex Bowman got around Joey Hand after switching up back and forth. Alex Bowman was able to pass Joey Hand for the race lead. Meanwhile, a few corners later, Josh Berry would hit the outside wall really hard in turn number 2, unfortunately ending his day and bringing the caution out. Just ended really hard, and the teams were put in a very difficult position. Josh Berry's day would come to an end. And then we would get to the final restart of this race with 4.5 minutes remaining, with Alex Bowman having the lead over Joey Hand. Alex Bowman would get a really good restart, a pull away from Joey Hand. Joey Hand tried to keep up for a second, but then a few corners later, John Nemechek got in the outside wall in turn number 2, and Chase Briscoe spun in turn number 1, but was able to keep going. Then you had Christopher Bell, who was really starting to charge up front and was making up a ton of ground. But then things would change with 4 laps to go technically in this race when Christopher Bell got clipped by Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who clipped Mark Truex Jr., and also Carson Osbar was involved in the wreck. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. making a big mistake right there, took the guy who probably had the best car at the end of this race out of contention for the win. This would unfortunately eliminate Christopher Bell from contention. And then the next lap, Denny Hamlin and Alex Bowman both ended up crashing in turn number 1, but was able to continue going. And then they would come to the line because this was a time race at this point with Alex Bowman having the race lead at the 0-second mark. And then eventually Tyler Reddick and Ty Gibbs were able to pass Joey Hand and get up to second with Reddick really charging hard. And Tyler Reddick got to about 2.5 seconds, and as it came to the white flag, Alex Bowman still had the race lead. Alex Bowman and Tyler Reddick were really going to be close. It was about 1.5 seconds going down turn number 4. Tyler Reddick would unfortunately make a massive and huge mistake. It hit the outside wall. I think he broke something in the car, probably because he started dropping back quite a bit. He hits the outside wall really, really hard. And eventually, Tyler Reddick tries everything to close at the end, but falls back 3 seconds, and it would not be enough. And in really shocking fashion, Alex Bowman comes off the final corner and picks up his first win of the 2024 season, his 8th career NASCAR Cup Series win, and becomes the 12th driver to lock their way into the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. This is a massive clutch win for Alex Bowman. Sure, Alex Bowman did not have the best car in this race, but they were a top 10 car early in the event. They played the strategy correctly. They did what they had to do. And to see Alex Bowman win, it's really good to see. You always see on social media, Alex Bowman should be replaced. Alex Bowman shouldn't be in this car. I think a lot of those people that have been going after Alex Bowman recently, I think a lot of those people are going to be quiet now because people say Kyle Busch should take over this car. Alex Bowman earned this win today. He did what he had to do. He was in the right position in right time. He's locked his way to playoffs, has been pretty consistent at points, led laps today. Congratulations, Alex Bowman, on picking up his first win of 2024. Meanwhile, during the cool-down lap, Bubba Wallace is not very happy with Alex Bowman. We're probably going to talk about that a little bit. I get Bubba Wallace being a little frustrated with Bowman because he got turned. I think Bubba had a car capable of winning the race today. I get him being a little upset with Bowman. They're probably a little uncalled for to put him in the outside wall there, in my opinion, but that's personally what I think happened there. And Alex did apologize once again to Bubba after that. He said he knows he ruined their day, but it is what it is. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at the race results, and I'll give my score and thoughts on today's race and talk about certain things NASCAR needs to work on. So Alex Bowman picks up the victory. Tyler Reddick finished second. A fantastic day for Tyler Reddick. Ran top 5 the whole entire race. Had some great pacer speed. Unfortunately, wasn't as fast as guys like Kyle Larson or SVG, but was in the top 5 the whole event. Gets a really strong second place finish. Great run from Tyler Reddick. Ty Gibbs finishes third. Ty Gibbs had a car capable of winning this race. Unfortunately, it's got a little behind a Cristobal at the end. Still finishes third. This 54 team is really starting to build a lot of momentum. This is a fantastic day. We know Ty got the experience yesterday. He did a really good job. He finishes third. Great run for Ty Gibbs. Joey Hand finishes fourth. Fantastic run. He was legitimately inside the top 10 before all the strategy came into play. So he legit had a top 10 car, started in the back, and it was kind of quiet. No one was really talking about him, and started making his way toward the front. What a great day for the 60 organization, a car that's been rumored to points be expanding to a 3-car team next year. What a fantastic day for Joey Hand. He finishes fourth. Amazing and great run for him. Michael McDowell finishes fifth. Fantastic run for him. He legitimately had a top 5 to top 10 car most of the day. Got behind on the strategy a little bit, but made his way back up. McDowell obviously going to Spire Motorsports next year. A really great day for him in the Chicago White Sox team. Solid scheme for day for him. He finished fifth. Fantastic run. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished the sixth. Talk about a second half turnaround for this 47 team. They've been showing a little more pace and speed recently. They've been playing the strategies correctly. I think Stenhouse had 3 or 4 top 10s in the last 5 or 6 or 7 weeks. So a solid day for Stenhouse in 6th position. Todd Gillen finished 7th. He legit had a top 5, top 10 car majority of this event. Couldn't get up there, but this 38 team has continued to build a lot of momentum. Just overall, really good day for the front row organization and team. Pretty good day if I say so myself. He finished 7th. Fantastic run for him. William Byron finished 8th. This is a team that had to start at the back. They struggled the whole entire event, but they played the strategy and they salvaged a top 10. Great comeback. The team still got a lot of work to do if they're going to be a championship threat at this point, but a pretty solid day in 8th place. Kyle Busch finished his 9th. A much-needed run for this 18. A great day for their standards. They have needed a good run for a long time. We know they're good at road courses, but the last few weeks have been dismal for them. I think a run like they had today, it's really good to see for the 8 team. Hopefully it can build confidence for Kyle Busch. While unfortunately their chances to maybe make the playoffs might have gone up in smoke at this point if Alex Bowman winning. They're going to need a win. Today's a really good step in the right direction. He finished 9th. Really solid run for Kyle Busch. And Ryan Blaney finishes 10th. Quiet all day, but gets a really solid top 10 run in 10th. Very solid day for him. Daniel Suarez finished 11th. Suarez quietly had a top 10, top 15 run most of the day. Was good in practice. Expect a little bit more for him, but he does at least get a top 15 finish. Not a bad run for him. Daniel Hemrick finishes 12th. Not a bad day if I say so myself. Bubba Wallace finishes 13th. I know he's frustrated with Alex Bowman. What could have been for this 23 team? I'll tell you, Bubba Wallace has gotten better on road courses. Early in this race, he had a top 5 car, was around 5th or 6th, a majority of the early portion. Unfortunately, got turned in the back of the field, I think around 10th or 11th by Alex Bowman there. Tough break for them, but they did recover. I get he showed his frustration, but I'm telling you, this was a solid day for the 23 team. Not a bad day. Another top 15 finish. They finished, I think, 7th last week. They got another top 15 run. Not a bad day for Alex Bowman. And remember, they get better in the second half of the season. Noah Gragson finished 14th. For a guy that struggled last year at this track, a top 15 run is pretty good. Austin Cindric finishes 15th. Justin Haley finishes 16th, was in the top 10 at points in this race. Unfortunately, faded at the end. Zane Smith finished 17th, another top 20 run. The last couple weeks have been a little better for the 71 team. Not a bad day for Zane Smith. Brad Keselowski, after being at 3rd at one point, he faded back to 18th. Brad struggled at points in this race, but he at least got a top 20 at the end of the day. Austin Dillon finishes 19th. Chris Buescher, who we thought was going to be better today, he finishes in 20th. Chase Elliott finished 21st. That is super significant because it's the first time that Chase Elliott has failed to finish in the top 20 this season. His worst finish of the year so far. Chase had about a top 10, top 15 car. Really wasn't a great day for the 19 to begin with. They faded at the end. They do get a top 25, but like I said, the first time they have failed to finish inside the top 20 this season. Ross Chasino had a top 10 car early, unfortunately faded back to 22nd. Tough break for the one team, not a great day overall. Joe Logano finished 23rd, substituted for Haley Deegan yesterday. We're expecting Haley Deegan probably to be out of the ride at this point. He finished 23rd today. Carson Osbar finished 24th. Harrison Burton finished 25th. Kaz Grall finished 26th. Corey LaJoie had a bad day overall, finished 27th. Josh Bilicki finished 28th, a solid top 30 for MBM. Eric Jones finished 29th. Denny Hamlin, who had a bad day overall, he finishes in 30th. Austin Hill finished 31st. Chase Briscoe, after crashing at points, finished 32nd. Mark Truex Jr. had a pretty bad day. He finished 33rd. Ryan Preece finishes 34th. John Nemechek, in my opinion, had a top 5, top 10 car majority of this race. He finishes 35th. Josh Berry finished 36th. Christopher Bell, who had a car capable of winning this race today, he finished 37th. Tough day for the 20 team. The 3 strongest cars overall fell out of this race. Christopher Bell finished 37th. AJ Allmendinger, who had a top 10 car points, unfortunately got involved in a couple wrecks and incidents. He finishes in 38th. Kyle Larson finished 39th. Kyle Larson probably had one of the 2 or 3 best cars in the early portions of this race. It didn't seem like they had the overall pace to go for the win like they did yesterday, but they were still really good. This hurt Kyle Larson's chances to win the regular season championship. He finishes 39th, and finishing last in 40th is Shane Van Gisbergen, who I think had the fastest car in the race today. Really tough day for the 16 team. They need to get a better pit crew going forward for this car when Shane gets behind the wheel. Shane could have gone back-to-back at this track this year. Tough break for the 16 team. I feel bad for SVG. He got basically turned for no reason. Just a big mistake by Chase Briscoe. Shane was going to have a chance to go and overall win this race. Really tough day for SVG. So that is a talk on the race. I'm now going to give you more thoughts and score on the race. So I really don't know how to score this race, to be honest, because this race had a lot of frustrations, to be honest. The beginning of this race, I probably would give about an 8 or 9. There were good moments for sure. Really difficult to pass. We had the top 9 or 10 cars within 1 or 2 seconds of each other, which I thought was really exciting. And seeing some of the battles up front were great. But some of NASCAR's bad officiating really hurt the race for me. Throwing that stage yellow was completely unnecessary in my opinion. And officiating has definitely got to get better going forward. It hurt the enjoyment of the race for me. So overall, because of all this stuff that hurt this event, I'm going to give today's race about a 6 or maybe a 5.5 to 6 out of 10. This race was probably targeted to be 8 or 9, but because of how it ended at the end, I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10, unfortunately. Now we transition to talk about some of the things. Number 1, NASCAR and the way they officiated. There is no reason we should be having stage cautions at road courses. They went 25 minutes under caution for a single car spinning. I get there was rain on the track. No reason that we should have ran nearly half an hour under the yellow. Also, there was a reason that we should have thrown the stage caution at the end of stage 2, considering we were on a time crunch. If we didn't throw that caution for a time crunch, we could have had a more enthralling and exciting finish. Instead, we threw a time crunch for no reason whatsoever. I understand that NASCAR did a good job at least letting the teams know. Can we please next year get rid of the sage yells? Also, some of the things they were doing just really, really frustrating, and some of the bad officiating today really hurt this race. As for this race, this weekend was going so well. There was a lot of hype around it, a lot of excitement. We had a fantastic race yesterday between Kyle Larson and SVG. But of course, bad luck struck the track once again with rain. I understand that NASCAR can't control the weather. I understand that. I know they had a concert. Next year, if this track comes back, because I'd like to see the Chicago Street Course come back, can we please not have this race at 5 p.m. Eastern? The latest a race, in my opinion, that should start with no lights during the summer is 2 p.m. Eastern. There is no reason that we should have started this race at 5 p.m. Eastern. 4 p.m. Central Time is way too late. You're putting yourself in a really big time crunch. You're going to have these issues come up, and it's going to be a frustrating end. That's what ruined this race for me, is how NASCAR officiated. Again, I understand that NASCAR got put in a bad position, but it's on them. They could have done a better job of the way they officiated, and it really ruined the enjoyment of the weekend for me. So, that is going to be it for today's NASCAR Cup Series race review from the Chicago Street Course. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support our Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's race. Your thoughts on today's race, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And congratulate Alex Bowman on stopping his winless streak and winning at Chicago. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we'll have a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. Then on Tuesday, we're going to have the Truck Series race fix, and we could have some breaking news coming this week that we might be talking about as well. There's some silly scene stuff that could be coming. There's a lot of stuff that could be breaking here very, very soon throughout the week as we head to Pocono. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.